gente? It's your girl Nina Montañez.
Hey, yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and I'm coming for you. And this is
Sofrito Speaks.
Hey, welcome back, damas y caballeros y ustedes. This is Sofrito Speaks, a subscribers episode number 4 of season 6, and we have a guest.
Numero cuatro.
And we have a guest.
Go off.
Let's go. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Let them know who you are. Whatever.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Darwin Joseph, aka Chef Black, known around the neighborhood of Lawrence. I am your local chef. Good eats. You know, every week I am presenting y'all with delicious food and plates and opportunities to try my food. I run my own catering business, which I established in the year of 2021. So right now I'm going on 2 years. You know, I've had my LLC now for about over a year and some change. So, you know, I have some clients here consistently. I have amazing supporters, which is, you know, is pretty great. Every day I'm trying to grow and, you know, I'm waiting to just have new experiences and just meet new people. So thank you guys for having me.
We got the chef in the cocina right now.
Hey,
okay.
yo.
Totally down with it. So on brand.
Yeah. Not on brand.
Let's go ahead and get into our first section, which is El Chisme, the part of the show where we let you guys know what had us fucked up or jodido in a bad or good way in the past week. Who finna start off?
Y'all.
Let me get out of this shot real
I'm going
quick.
to start real quick because...
We forgot to turn that off. And we're back.
Anyways.
Also, don't judge our setup. Sorry. Don't judge our setup because y'all didn't pay for this, so...
You stupid. Anyways, so this week, y'all, I left my job or whatever, and it makes me laugh.
In case you're wondering what job it was.
Shut up. Okay, yeah, so I did work for Nike. That was cute. It was giving for like a little bit, for a solid year, and I moved up in the ranks to management, and that's where I stopped because I was like, this isn't it. It's not.
This is crazy.
I think I like just wearing the brand. I don't want to work for the brand.
Right.
You know what I mean? The discount was nice. I'm not even going to hold you guys, but I had to withhold a lot. I don't like jobs where I can't talk about the shit that's like bothering me, so I have to make it hypothetical. And I don't know why I do that. I don't know if it's like a professional like instinct for me, but like I've been screaming fuck that job for like 3 months. Like, no bullshit. Like, retail is not for everybody. I'm telling y'all, if you want to have a regular schedule, have some type of social life, I hate the concept of, hey, can you come to my shift?
I didn't understand when you went into retail. I was like, why would...
It was a guaranteed job. I wasn't working full time for the majority of 2021. And then I was like, all right, let me stop being an idiot. Let me get back on it. Guaranteed job, and then I moved up the ranks fast. Like within 2 months, I became a manager, and then that's when I was just like, this isn't it. So I have all the tea for you guys. We did have an issue with the management where we were told that we couldn't speak Spanish over the headset.
Oh God.
So here's the thing though.
Ooh.
Don't call me over the headset talking about I need a Spanish speaker, but I can't speak Spanish over the headset. Because guess what's going to happen? I suddenly have amnesia. And I only speak English. Don't play with me. And I'm not even going to hold you. I kept telling kept telling everybody, I was like, stop speaking Spanish. They don't want to speak Spanish. Stop speaking Spanish. Let them scramble and figure it out. Y'all better break out Google Translate and get it popping with that app because ain't no way. And it was super disheartening because for a company that preaches, I'm not even going to speak on the whole company. For this specific location, you know, when we started, we opened up, you know, everything was diversity this, diversity that, and oh my God, it's so great. And I realized that we're only celebrating diversity when it looks good. But when we implement it into every day, it's not the case. But this is what happens when you get people in management that are not from the community in which you decided to open up a store in. And what happens when you get someone in management who comes from a cookie cutter clean background of retail, and then they get here and they're like, who are all these misfits? And they don't understand. And then we're trying to, as a person of color in leadership, I'm trying to let them know, like, oh, you have to engage more, like ask more questions. Like, I get that they have a job to do, but there's been all of 2 consumers in the store. Why can't you converse with them instead of being on them about folding fucking t-shirts? Ask them how their week is going. Give a fuck about what they have for lunch instead of being like, oh, what is that? First of all, you ever yuck my yum when I'm pulling out my lunch, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking throat. That's disrespectful. Like, if you are used to eating mashed potatoes bland, don't come for me.
White.
It's giving
white.
It sounds about white. But that was a thing that was like super disheartening, because it's like, so when it's beneficial for you, then we're assets. Listen, I wasn't getting paid more for being able to speak a second language.
And you technically should. Well,
no, if you speak more than one language, you absolutely should be compensated, because we have people that speak Arabic, that came in handy. We have people that speak Portuguese, that came in handy. People that speak Spanish, that always comes in handy. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where it was like, you suck as a leader for making us feel as though we can't be ourselves at work, but then praise that's one of like our ethos. It's like diversity. And it's like, but you don't know how to appreciate diversity unless we make sure the numbers look good. So when you pitch it to your boss, everything's all cookie cutter. Now, here's where the tea gets for real, and where it really had me fucked up. We reported this to the higher ups, and guess who the higher ups are? White men. No. Oh, love to see it.
So that went nowhere.
So we were told we were being overly sensitive, and that's not what she meant.
Wow.
All while when our boss did say it, she ran back to be like, "Oh, that's not how I meant it." Started crying. I was like, "Ma'am, I don't do white women tears. Here's a tissue."
Facts.
You said what you said, and then when you realize that it's 2022 and you can't get away with that shit, you feared for your job. That was not a genuine apology. You feared for your job. Don't play with me. Because listen, I know how to keep it pristine, cute, and cookie cutter when it comes to my job. You think I was going to slip up? You think I was going to slip up at my job? Oh, nah. Baby, you could have, I'll slip up at a bar. I'm not slipping up at work. You're bugging because you're not taking my money from me.
I hear that.
Which is unfortunate. Then we have this whole like DEI training via Zoom. Can we stop with Zoom trainings? Zoom trainings, listen, I'm shutting my camera off and I'm texting.
DEI training.
Diversity, inclusion, DIE.
I remember
diversity,
in
inclusion,
Starbucks,
something.
They made us do that 4 trainings to sit down and to understand the experience from a person of color.
No, but the shit that was crazy
and I'm
though.
like, we all people of color up in here, like we know the experience.
Right. And thank you for telling us about our experience and what you think we go through. This was the thing though. We ended up having that training because this controversy sparked that training once it got to the higher ups. Like, oh, let's do a training. No, how about you hold those in those positions accountable instead of making us feel like we did something wrong for standing up to ourselves. Don't tell us there's an anonymous hotline and then blast people for being like, hey, shout out to so-and-so for bringing up this topic and that's why we have this training. What the fuck is wrong with you?
They called an anonymous
They called an anonymous hotline to talk about what happened.
Maybe it's giving lawsuit.
Oh, baby, it was bad. It was bad.
Lawsuit.
So we ended up having this training. You know what we talked about that entire training? We didn't even talk about racial diversity. We talked about LGBTQIA+, and we were like,
that's the only diversity that
my people will do it.
That wasn't the issue.
My people will get their respect.
That wasn't the issue at hand. If anything, y'all got more respect than we did at that store. So I'm just like, that's what's up. I appreciate that, but we're not talking about why this actually came about. It wasn't homophobia. It was a racist comment. Period. Why are we talking about homophobia and pronouns and X, Y, and Z and like not misgendering people? But I can't speak Spanish when it's beneficial and it works for me on my job. This doesn't even make sense. It's giving deflection. It's giving deflection. Like I'm like, I got more tea, but I'm going to save them for later episodes. Thank you. But that is my El Chisme. What had me fucked up. And I'm done with that job. I start my new job next week.
Exciting.
Talk to me nice.
Love that.
What you got, Chef?
What you got?
Shit, for me, honestly, this happens every week.
Oh, please speak on it. I know what you're going to talk about. Please.
Happens to me literally every week when I'm selling food. I don't know what goes in the minds of some people. Maybe it's because like I don't have what you would call, I guess, a professional establishment. You know, there's some people that feel the need to question my business and how I conduct my business in terms of whether it's pricing or just being considerate when it comes to my time, you know. So, you know, there are people who will place an order. I will give them, or I will ask them, what time is good for you to pick up, you know. They'll give me a time, or I'll give them a time, or they ask me, oh, when will this be ready? I give them a time. They agree with the time. I let them know the day of, your order's ready. Oh, damn, I didn't know it was going to be ready at this time.
It's giving you booked.
But
I am a professional, baby. I said what I said.
One thing that I will say is that out here, I feel like nobody understands how time works.
I'm not gonna hold you. I will start doing deposits. A
Yeah.
$5 deposit.
Because
You're losing money when you can't sell that plate anymore because somebody else flaked on you.
Wait, so what happens when it's ready on time? Do they just not come pick it up, or?
No, well, there are some people won't come pick it up at all, right?
Wow.
And then,
but they paid?
but they haven't paid. They
don't
placed
pay
an
until they get
order.
their plate.
Right. But there are some people, though, that
Y'all are
give
some
me
fucking,
they give me the
suck.
courtesy.
Y'all suck.
There's some people that give me the courtesy. They'll place an order and they'll send me that money the day or the same time they place that order.
As it should
right,
be.
as they should be. And
I would do $5 deposit, baby. I'm sorry. $5 deposit. Yup.
honestly, I really should. And then there are some people that will place an order. They don't come and pick it up. But then, you know, I have those other people that hit me up like, yo, you still got food left? I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, here. You know, because this other person never came to pick up their shit. So, you know, it kind of works out for me in the end. But still, it's frustrating because
That's terrible.
I'm literally sitting here just waiting, twiddling my thumbs. You know, I took the time out of my day to cook and prepare this food. You said you're interested in placing an order. You place an order. But yet, day of, now you're completely ghost. Make that make sense,
Oh,
bro.
wait. Like, what about... So, do you get people arguing with you about your prices? Not, like, argue, but, like, question your prices?
Yeah, they'll question it or they'll try to...
I never understood that.
So they'll try to, like, oh...
Because at what restaurant... do you question the prices?
You know?
Please, y'all really be sitting here up in Starbucks talking about I'm going to pay $7 for a small, but you want to question somebody who...
But no, literally, there are people that will do that, or they'll try to negotiate. Like, so I have something set. Like, say if I do a plate for 8 wings and fries for $20.
8 wings
You've
and fries
had
for $20. I think that's a pretty good.
You know,
Right.
you had my food before, so it's just like my portions.
I co-sign.
My portions they're great fucking portions.
Yo.
You can't complain.
Yup.
Right? But then there are some people who's like, oh, what if I want 10 wings and like a small fry?
Well, maybe you should go somewhere else.
Yeah, bro. I'm like,
where they can accommodate that.
I'm like,
Like,
listen,
what?
I do the math. I know what I need to make the type of money that I want to make. So this is what I've set everything. I don't negotiate. I don't,
As it should be.
go
It's
back
your
and
business.
forth.
It is not for you. You know, it's obviously for you to cater to people, but at the same time, it's like it's not your place to come over here and try to justify the price. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
I
And
absolutely understand. Like,
if
how
you
that
don't
is.
like it, go to another establishment.
There's
That's
always that
perfectly
option.
fine with me. I am no malice, no hard feelings, because I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, so I know that there are people
that are gonna pay your prices.
who are gonna pay my
that
prices
fucking part
and not complain.
That part. That
we
part.
definitely experienced that one time. Like,
Yeah.
we had to like figure out a price, and I was like, we're gonna charge this. This is gonna be a lot of work, and we're not even charging not even 3% of what we should be making. We're literally just gonna charge this small fee because, you know.
And it's difficult. Money is always an awkward thing to talk about. It doesn't matter which way you come at it. It's just awkward. Like, oh, you want me to cash app you? No, you good? Oh, how much would you charge? Listen,
Right.
I wish it wasn't so. Listen, if you gonna fuck with somebody's business, please stop thinking you're gonna get
Just
a shortcut
support,
and
yeah.
and like stop asking for discounts. When again, you're paying full fucking price for everything you see on social media, but when it comes to somebody who wants to just put food on their fucking table, you have an issue and you want to argue the prices. Baby, then leave them alone. Stop making comments like, "Damn, that's what you charge?" Yup, because that's what the fuck it's worth. Period.
Exactly. And on honesty,
yo,
That's what you charge.
I could charge more because I know I bring quality product and I deliver consistency
And
every
he's still
time.
underselling his stuff.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I'm still learning the business, but even last year, I feel like I've come a long way because last year I would do the back and forth. I'd be like, oh, maybe I am too much. Maybe the price is too high. Da 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 da. But coming into this year, I'm like, you know what? No, this is my price.
Balls dropped.
This is my food. You're funny.
I was like, the visual. I was like, whoa.
But now,
Mid-story.
seriously, like, I know I deliver what my product delivers, and if you don't believe in my product, you don't have to. See you later, Kick Rocks, Arrivederci. I'll see you fucking later, my nigga. Like, I could do this shit somewhere else, and trust me, I can seriously upcharge. I'm doing this because this is my passion. I love to do it. At the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's about giving a service, and especially back to my community where I see there is a lack. There's just a certain type of food. I love my Spanish people. I love the Spanish culture. But myself, I'm Haitian. And I haven't had a lot of representation, especially in this community growing up. So I personally decided that I'm going to make it known that, hey, this is a culture that you guys should know, you guys should be aware of, that our food is delicious. And here it is. I'm going to present a great quality food for you guys to try. And I'm not going to argue about my prices anymore. It is what it is.
Accurate.
There it is. What had you fucked up this week?
White people have me fucked up. I'm sorry. I don't know who the fuck you think I am. But yeah, I'm going to have an interesting conversation with my supervisor. There was another supervisor who came to my door and say, like, I don't talk to anyone at my job. I'm very serious when I say this. I walk into my job. Hey, good morning. Sit in my office. Don't. You need to talk to me. Email me. Like, just don't. Like, I don't.
Put it in the email.
I already don't want to be here, and I have to because America. But, like, when I tell you I'm not going to be, like, rude about it, but it's just, like, very much so. Like, I'm not trying to get personal with you. This is not, for a good time. This is just for a long time. So it's like, I just got to make it work. But this supervisor... Baby, she's one of the wild, those wild whites that they're like, I'm down, I'm hip, I'm wild, I'm funny. And it's like, okay, that's cute. Keep it over there because, that's cute for you. And I love that. I love that you're wild and oh my God, amazing. Right. Over there. Came to my door, was banging on my door. This was a random Thursday, okay? This was last Thursday.
Not banging
super
on your door.
Fucking random. I'm like literally actually working because I also spend 90% of my day doing shit. But I'm actually sitting there working. They bang on my door and I look and the door is glass so you can see who it is. And she's like yelling out, smile. And she's like, smile, smile, smile. And
I know you fucking lying.
I'm sitting there and I was like, is this person in crisis? Like, what is going on right now? Like, what? Which led me to believe that there was a conversation had at whatever meeting that person was at, and all the supervisors were meeting. I just was, since it was clinical, I didn't have to be a part of that. So something was said, and then she opens the door and chucks some motherfucking Skittles at me.
Are you guys friends?
Bro.
You guys aren't friends?
Yeah, good morning. That's as far as the relationship goes. And I sit there and I'm like I see my future. Like, I'm like, yo.
Behind bars?
Yeah, I was like,
assaulting a white woman?
I could jump over
as
this.
a man of color?
I was like, I could jump over this desk, seriously harm this woman.
Oh
but
my God.
I have to be the bigger person. It wasn't funny. It was actually super. It caught me super off guard, and like I didn't know what to how to react because I'm like, fuck. If whatever way I do react, I'm gonna be looked at as the aggressor regardless. So I have to just kind of just sit here and take this. But and then I played it back. I literally picked up. Well, first of all, I ate the Twix because it was like a party mix. So I ate the Twix and I was like, bitch, we're going to get some candy. We're going to have some of this candy real quick. Then I picked up the rest of the candy that I didn't like and I brought it back to her office. I'm like, here you go. I'm like, I don't eat that. And she was like, she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I just don't eat that candy. And then I just went back to my office, and like I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, am I like, is this the reality? Like, am I living in this world like where I have to keep my fucking mouth shut, or else I'm gonna lose my job?
Right.
When you were disrespected because she thought she was being funny and playful, but that's not the relationship y'all have. Baby, we already know what happens when white women start crying.
Oh, baby,
you lose your life and
you know,
your
she
job.
she came up to me. She's like, "You didn't smile all day yesterday," and I was like, I told her straight up to her face, I'm like, I don't smile every day because my life isn't rainbow and fucking butterflies. And she just looked at me like, oh,
so
no.
Shocked.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, not all of us go home to an amazing fucking house. Some of us are living in a fucking room, bitch. Not all of us get to work from home like you do, bitch. Like, I gotta be here
drag her.
just fucking staring at a screen like.
I wish a bitch would. And a bitch did and you couldn't.
So, but it's okay because, you know, I'm going to have a conversation with my manager and I'm going to ask her to take care of it. And should she not, I'm going to take it higher than that. Because one thing I love is money. So if I could get a lawsuit out of this, then because that's harassment. And yeah, the minute you threw that, baby, thank you. Thank you.
You signed the check.
You threw that bag literally at me. And I was like, yes!
With my twins.
Yo.
But yeah, white people just have me all the way fucked up. And everything that's going on in the media. And I'm just like, yo, the whites is whiting. They whiten a lot. So if you're white or...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yikes.
But yeah, let's close this out and head over to the next section, which is...
Ay bendito. Welcome to Ay bendito, which is a part of the show where we are going to talk about local news as well as media headlines, whatever we saw on whatever social media handle you can maybe think of. We might talk about it. We might not. Anyways, so with that being said, you want to lead us off, Chef?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I don't tend to pay attention too much to news and media, what's going on. 'Cause I have a whole lot of shit going on. But there was some shit that I saw actually earlier this morning on TikTok was this, I believe is an actor, right? Actor?
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais, or however you pronounce his last name.
For reference from The Office, the British version.
Yeah, so
He's not that funny.
I've seen him before.
I saw the British version and I was like, episode 1, we're good. We're good. We didn't need that.
Oh, I don't know.
I've seen him before, but not like officially. I never like really paid attention to him. But apparently, he hosted the Golden Globes, and I guess he's hosted them for like 5 years straight. But this year, this year, he just like pretty much went in on like the Hollywood elite. You know, going in on just their relationships, the pedophilia that's going on,
and people friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Still friends with Jeffrey Epstein. You know how just it's just a whole bunch of stuff being ignored, and yet they're trying to make it like a comedy, like a ha-ha moment, but he's being like dead ass and he's being serious. Like, this is the last time I'm hosting this bullshit because y'all really got me fucked up. I mean, obviously he said it in a more political way, but you just see him going in on these people, kind of like making light of it, but not really. He's just completely serious.
Well, that's I feel like that's the issue. Sorry to cut you off, but like, we're not people. There's two sides of America: the people that believe it, people that are like, it's a joke.
Right.
Because in comedy, they've made so many references because it's like, oh, it's the hot topic right now.
Right.
Boom, let's just include this in on the comedy. So then everyone's like, oh, they're just making a joke of it because that's just what people are saying. But it's like, how long can people keep saying this?
You know, and it's like, I feel that's the best comedy. Like, me personally, my favorite comedic is Dave Chappelle, and that's because he'll take real life situations, put a comedic twist to it, but actually present it to you, and you're just like, oh shit.
It's gonna make you think and laugh.
And you know what I'm saying? That's why he's so controversial.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people try to cancel him, but at the same time, it's like,
nobody can ever get canceled.
You can't cancel a man for speaking the truth. Like, if you're that offended, it's because you know there's some truth behind it, and you just not trying to face it. But that's what I saw in the media, and you know, there's a whole lot of truth that I feel is coming out lately, and people are trying to shine a light on it, and other people are trying to laugh it off. But you know what I'm saying? You really got to open your eyes to what people are actually saying.
So I'm gonna bring it to a little bit lighter topic because they're giving out stimuluses. In case you guys haven't been catching up with the
word.
only if you filed.
Ruben hasn't given us a stimulus update in that long.
Yo, the stimulus is.
This is his thing.
When I found
Cut the check.
No, when I found out we got shut down, like I was like, yeah, we're getting shut down. But then I found out they're giving money. I'm like, oh, maybe we good. Shut us down. So they're giving us 1,400, I believe. And if you filed your taxes in 2021, then you qualify and you should be getting that within the next month. So,
Shit.
I didn't file my taxes in 2021, so I'm pretty pissed off. But
That's crazy.
Go off!
My taxes.
I'm mad that I made the least last year and I got the most in a fucking tax return.
I'm actually not this check that I'm getting this week, but in 2 weeks I have to make the payment for my taxes which is weird, which is why I think that they did end up filing my taxes because I got multiple notices from the IRS saying like, hey, you filed your taxes. But I just went and prepped it and then they wanted a payment and I was like, I'm not going to pay you right now. Like, I'll pay you when. But they sent like official government documents saying that I needed to make my payment for the taxes that I owed. And I'm paying it. So I don't know if maybe I am going to get that money. If I'm not, I don't even know if it's filed. The place never called me back and was like, yeah, here's, come pick up or make your payment so we can file it. And I'm just going to pay it, collect the letter. And that way when I go file for next year, if they say like, oh, you never paid or you never filed your taxes, I'm like, the government doesn't lie, baby. The IRS is right there.
They give me
Well,
right.
honey, they're not going to... Let me tell you something right now. They're not just going to take your money. Because the last thing that they want is a lawsuit because they're stealing from you.
Yo, speaking of, great segue into what I have. So Tyler Perry fired his accountants because he saw that the IRS owed him $9 million.
Oh damn!
So that means they were not handling his accounts right because if the IRS owes him money now, something's going on. You imagine that?
Ooh, not a black man.
That's like... I forgot the celebrity that recently...
Go get your coin, Medea.
Recently was somebody was... Oh, Fat Joe. Fat Joe had his accountants that were stealing money from him. And went and paid off for one of their child's college and everything with his money.
Oh damn!
And he was like, he had to fire them. It was pretty crazy. I'm like, how do you hire people to watch? I mean, it's a lot of money to watch after. So
you need an accountant for your accountant because
pretty insane.
Same shit happened with Rihanna.
Listen, and another thing. Speaking of like money and like watching who you have guarding it, I hate that I'm even bringing this lady up. Candace Owens has a documentary out. Called The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. And she's covering the Black Lives Matter organization and how they mishandled. And I'm so intrigued. I
saw a clip of that.
I literally was like, dang, is this like, dang, like say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. But I am interested to watch it. I wish it was anybody else that was commentating, but unfortunately it's her. Whatever. And I was reading the comments. I was on Facebook reading the comments. Of course, it was a bunch of white men and women endorsing her because she's literally preaching to them. But with that, I did see black men and women that were like, she's not lying. I hate that it's her that had to blow the lid off of it. But like, she's like, there's truth behind what she's saying. And I'm going to be the first to say, I do stand for Black Lives Matter, not the organization, but the message in its totality.
I think a lot of...
and that's what a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I stand behind BLM. I just not the organization.
But that's hard for the whites to understand.
Right. And she was able to get the documents as because she was like, where did all that money that you guys raised as an organization go?
What sucks is that
she retrieved the documents and she broke down what money was going towards. Money was going towards the sex industry. Money was going towards a bunch of like random shit. And I'm like, of course she's gonna jump on that because she's like pro religion and like you can't exist just merely because your lifestyle is different than mine. Like, that's wild to me. But that's a thing. I hate.
It sucks because with
it.
this documentary that's gonna come out, it's really gonna again put that dark light over the Black Lives Matter messaging instead of But in America, like, we can't just have a message, right? There has to be money behind it. There has to be something pushing it. Right. There has to be something going on to make it look bigger than what it needed to be. Yeah. Instead of it just being a movement, it was turned into this. And so now everyone's literally going to look at it and be like, yeah, we got to stop saying BLM or whatever. And it's like, no, the message still stands.
The message stands.
The organization doesn't.
Right. I feel like in white people's eyes, they're going to see us like, damn, you guys are ungrateful. They can never have anything.
Right.
Like,
I mean, they already see us as that now. I feel like
true.
We complain about anything. It's like, well, work harder. And it's like, I'm working 3 jobs. Like, how much harder can I work?
Like, you get to work 1 and go home. I have to clock out and clock in. Like, what? That doesn't.
Well, you should have gone to school. Well,
I did, and now I'm in debt. Thank you.
I'm in debt with a degree.
Speaking of with debt, I love these segues. This is amazing. This is the best Ibendito I've ever had to date.
No, because you was taught.
I know. So with that, because like I didn't realize I was low key retaining information. Normally I'm like, I don't remember, but like I'm like, oh, I locked this shit in this week. So we all know that the student loan forgiveness application went live, and you can forgive like 10 grand. Yep. I still don't fully understand it, but baby, trust me when I say I filled it out. So basically saying like, oh, if you are still dependent and your parents make X amount of money, you don't qualify because your parents can help you pay for it. But why is that your parents? This is from what I was being told. And I was like, wait, that doesn't even make sense. I was like, thank God I'm independent.
But what if your parents don't claim you on their taxes as a dependent?
But if you still get claimed, then that you're canceled out.
Oh, that's fucked.
And then if you made the same amount of money, this was the one that fucked me up. Let's say you made $50,000 last year. That's what your salary is. Let's say your loans are $50,000 in debt. That now cancels out. They're like, nope, you could definitely pay your loans because you make enough money to be able to pay your loans. If you are $100,000 in debt, somebody correct me if I'm wrong because this is how it was being pitched to me, and I was sitting here like, what the fuck? If you are $100,000 in debt and you only made $50,000 that in a year, then that's when you qualify for the $10,000 loan forgiveness. And it's like, pero that's a little droplet of water in the ocean,
right? Because
people accumulate that amount because of the interest on the loans. Yeah. Like if you took my loans and you cut the interest right off of it, I'd only be like $30,000 in debt. And I'd be like, yeah, I could pay that off. That'd be a year of me like not spending money on shit and it just completely going back to that. But because of interest, it doubled in price. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting.
Well, America has no money for that.
But we have money to send.
But we have $1 billion for Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Ding.
Anyways, with all of that being said, we are now going to move on over into our next section, which is
Caldero Talk.
All right, mi gente, welcome back to Caldero Talk, which is the part of the show where we're going to give you the meat
La carne
of the entire show. So with that, this is the part of the show where we're going to serve it to you on Abuela's Floral China, and we're going to dissect and discuss the topic at hand. And with our guest, it stemmed off of a conversation he and I were having. So I always get inspired by conversations I have with other people to then text Ruben and be like, hey, I have this idea. And Ruben's like, yeah, I don't give a shit, bitch. You guys.
Wrong day, wrong time.
Yeah, and then when you get here, we'll figure it out. So we're going to title this episode Happy Friends. Emphasis on the happy.
Happy.
Why? Because we're going to talk about the friendships between gay men and heterosexual men.
Oh, I'm not gay.
And why that's the issue. Bitch, we know you gay. You scream it loud and proud, as you should. And we're going to talk about the friendship between gay men and heterosexual men and the just negative stigmas that come with that, and what that looks like. So I get to be outsider looking in because I can't speak from that experience, because I think there's a double standard when it comes to like me being friends with gay women. Like it's like, oh cool, like you guys are friends. Like I don't get I've gotten hit on, but like whatever, that's cute. Cute concept. No, thank you. I like men's. Thank you. But it's not frowned upon and or scrutinized the way that it is when it comes to heterosexual men and gay men in platonic friendships. What are y'all's thoughts?
I definitely have a lot of straight friends. I think that I used to think about the difference, like, oh, I'm gay, they're straight. Now I don't see the world like that. I definitely do get sometimes straight men who are like very shut off the minute they hear the tone of my voice or the minute that they find out that I'm gay. Like a lot of straight men have, believe it or not, and I don't get it, but they're like, oh, I didn't know you were gay, and I'm like, okay, like
Not you being offended. But
I actually am like trying to gain my life up a little bit more because it's like, what the
trying
fuck?
to zhuzh it up.
Like, if you can't tell, that's a problem. So I always love when I get that, and then I love when the girls will come to me, not the girls, but the girls will come to me, and
I'm glad you clarified.
they'll be like, who's that? And I'm like, oh girl, he's straight. I'm like, let me know if you get some of that. Let me know how it looked like or whatever.
I want orati.
But I think that the discrimination really just comes from people really not being educated or around enough gay people, and I think that even though every corner you turn it's screaming gay, 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 there's still a lot of streets that are very much just like, there's no gay person in sight that you know of.
Them DL dudes is different.
I will say that. I will say that.
So what about you? What do you get from, I feel like from our conversations, you have a very, I don't want to say toxic masculine friend group. Matter of fact, for lack of a better term, we're going to go for that. We're going to go with that. Yeah.
I mean,
for you?
For the most part, I love my friends, my boys, but there are conversations where we will have where I don't necessarily agree with their viewpoint, and I don't feel as comfortable speaking my mind because then I obviously know like what their response is gonna be. They're gonna look at me weird, and it's just like, nah. I went to college. I've had plenty of gay friends, and you feel me, like they didn't treat me any type of way. I didn't feel uncomfortable because they were gay. Like that had nothing to do with me. I'm genuinely person to person. Like if you treat me and respect me as such, I'm going to do the same. You're cool. We can have conversations. We're like-minded people. What does your sexuality have to do with me or anything? Like,
because it's the way straight men clock gay men and their sexuality. I'm like,
I will also actually throw a bone in there and say that it is also the way that gay men clock straight men's sexuality as well. Ooh. I think that a lot of gay men are with this mindset that, first of all, in the gay culture, it's a very sexually driven culture, and we operate in the mindset of thinking that, well, a lot of gay men operate in the mindset that they think every man is curious. And although that might be the case for a lot, that isn't the case for all. And I think it's so, I remember a few years back when I was like thinking about that, and I would sit there and I'm like, is this person curious? Like they're giving me a little, vibe. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, but then at the same time, I'm like, I love when a masculine man or a straight man can be comfortable with me to be like, to joke around and just have, because we all have a feminine side, whether we love to admit it or not, and just like women have a masculine side, whether they love to admit it or not. And I appreciate when they're like free to just be themselves instead of being like, oh, I gotta be the guy, I gotta be tough, I gotta be the nigga. Like, and it's like, let's just chill. Like, let's just be people.
Chill out, like,
and I feel like with gay men, sometimes I see it in the community where they'll have a straight friend and their automatic go-to is like, y'all fucking? It's like, no. Like I have a straight best friend, and we were together for like a good 10 months, like constant chilling because we were doing a dance project, and like there was a whole thing back and forth between going to Boston and back, and that was my ride and all that. But when I brought him around like everyone in the dance company was like, "Is that your boyfriend?" And I was like, "He's straight." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Is it weird that you're seeing a straight man with a gay man?" And they're like, "Yeah, but he might be he's a little too soft or whatever." And I'm like, "He's just straight. Like he's not like like." He's not a toxic. Yes, he's very much just willing to be free. He knows that he dances. He knows that when he dances, people think that he's gay. He doesn't care because he just likes to dance. And he's like, if people want to,
like if a straight man dances well, it's assumed
yes.
that they're gay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That is a very big thing. It's really when you go to like a dance party and you meet another male dancer, you sometimes they'll just start off like, yeah, I don't go that way. And it's like, not to be toxic, but it's like sometimes you got to have that conversation, because when the girls are around, they get a little like handsy, the alcohol's flowing, and it's like they're straight, babes, like it's okay, the women need men too, like we can't have them all,
we can't take them all.
but yeah, I definitely would throw that bone in there to say that definitely gay men do the same thing.
That is interesting.
It's funny because for those that don't know, I also am part of a men's mental health group here in Lawrence called Brothers in Arms. Shout out to Brothers in Arms.
Not a shameless plug.
You feel me? But we actually, you should definitely come to a meeting. We actually have one
on
tomorrow.
Mondays when we have our staff meeting. Melix is the one that invited me to go, and I was like,
word.
That's that. I'm down for that.
Yeah, but we've had this conversation kind of a little bit where we mentioned that it's possible that some men are so like toxic in their masculinity when it comes to gay men because they are what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say insecure, but they're kind of jealous of the way how gay men are so free with like just who they are, and and they don't care who judges them, and then some straight men are just like, oh, I want to be free too, without the assumption that I am a homosexual, like, so then they become just so like fed up and in their toxic masculinity that they don't know how to properly respond with their emotions, that they automatically go into the negative side, like, oh, I'm not gay, oh, I don't want to be around gay people, oh, fuck this guy, da 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 da. Like, nah, bro, chill. You feel me? It's like, me personally, I know I have a feminine energy, and I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to say it. Am I a homosexual man? No. You feel me? But it's like, I know that I am more gentle and more soft in some areas of my life because that's just how I was raised. I was raised by a single mother. I didn't necessarily have a father figure to present, I guess, the other masculine side of myself. But I just learned that just being myself. And so I'm just comfortable just pretty much around anybody and just being myself. Like, I'll fuck around and go get a manicure because I like good hygiene. I know how to dress well.
He's a great person to get a manicure with. He's going to make sure they don't fuck your shit up.
You know what I'm saying? So just like, because I'm into those things doesn't mean that I'm gay or that I have an interest in men. It's just like, I like to be clean. I like to be well kept. That's just who I am. And
it's interesting how like cleanliness is automatically associated to femininity and homosexuality.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Like, men can't be clean.
Also, gays are dirty. So it's like, what are we doing? It makes no sense. I definitely was gonna say that because I feel like I see a lot of TikTok, the ones that they do the aesthetic blogs, and I follow a lot of guys. Well, I don't follow a lot of guys, but they obviously come up because that's what I like to see. And to see them just be clean and like to see their houses just well put together, their apartments are well put together. There's an aesthetic, this movement of just a man being able to be a man and having. Being able to express their emotion and things like that. I'm all for men growing and obviously being clean, being well put together, presenting yourself the way that you see yourself instead of the way that you want others to see you.
Right.
I think that's really important, and I think it's super brave, right? When I meet a straight man who's just like, yo, this is me, and I love when there is a straight man in the room, because it kind of does feel manly. So I struggle with, when I was growing up, I struggled a lot with my masculine side and my feminine side. I didn't know how to be more masculine, and I also didn't know how to be more feminine. It was like this weird constant battle of like, one weekend you'll see me and I'm like the tightest clothes and nails painted, and then the next weekend I'm just like, yeah, I'm a thug, like, So it was like trying to find that balance, and then I was like brought onto the term of like androgynous and how I sometimes appear androgynous, and I was like, okay, I like that, but I'm not gender bending. So it's a little bit.
What's the difference?
So I think androgyny, if I remember correctly, is like when you kind of play with your look and you can gender bend and you can be feminine presenting or masculine presenting all at the same time, where they're like it's its own category. Whereas, usually to other people, the way that they see you is either like masculine or feminine. But androgyny is like in the middle. Like when I had my hair down to the side and shaved my sides, like you couldn't tell if I was a boy or a girl, or a male or a female. You could only tell that I was just someone. And I had been confused for a female a couple of times, and that offended me because it was like, yo, I feel like I take pride in being a man. Like I really do. I'm a man who actually just loves men. I'm not like, I don't want to be a female. I'll do the heels. I did the heels last night. It's just fun. It's just fun to play around and just have some fun and try something different. But I'm not, like, there's never been a question for me. Well, actually, I did question it before, and it was like, do you want to be a female? I've thought about that, and I was just like, I don't think I see myself going through all of that. I don't have any operations or anything, and I've never had stitches, and I'm like, why would I do that to be that dramatic? And I don't think that my mind is working in that space. I'm really just a man who just is emotionally more attracted to men. So it's like, it's weird. It's a weird space to live in, and especially like when when I worked in Starbucks in New York, I was around nothing but black men, and like seeing them just be like, yo, you the homie, bro. Like, don't worry about it. Like, there's been times where, people were threatening me or whatever, and they're like, yo, who we gotta fuck up? Like, who we gotta, and I'm like, y'all really do like me. Like, okay, like I could do this, and they'll talk to me about their girl, or they'll talk to me about their problems, and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I think, you're tripping, or whatever the case. And that kind of just made me more comfortable around being around men. I will say that when I first come around a group of men, I'm definitely guards up. I'm like, yo, anybody say some slick shit, like, let's get to it. Like, but at the same time, I've kind of been teaching myself to drop that guard and just be accepting, and also understanding that everyone's not for you. And sometimes, maybe, I don't think I'm walking around with so much sugar in my tank, but maybe to your standards I am. And it's not my job to make you comfortable with me. It's your job to already come into the room and be able to adapt, and be able to be around the environment, because you're going to meet a lot of different people. I've met trans people. I'm part of the community that I felt like I didn't know how to take that. I didn't know, like, to that extreme. I worked with somebody this is when pronouns was becoming a big thing, who to me presented as a male, and then, came around and I was like, him, and pulled me to the side and was like, hey, my pronouns are she, her. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, I don't know how to take that. Like, what is that? The fuck is a pronoun? Like, the fuck? So I'm one of those, and I had to learn that as well. And I did apologize. I will always apologize if I'm in the wrong and you let me know. And I just refer to them by their name. So I think, I don't know what tangent I went off there. But,
it sounded like you had to get that off your chest.
Yeah, it was all there. It was just,
Sitting there and you go, oh, this is my time to shine, baby, whatever. But no, I think, well, you did touch upon, like, when you walked into a room, it's a new room and it's men, your guard is up, because you're like, ooh, what is the vibe? Because at any point, someone's going to say, we live in a city with ignorant ass people, and you're going to find them everywhere. Someone is going to say some stupid shit. Like, and then if liquor starts flowing, people start saying like the whole filter thing comes down, and this whole, when we talked about this before, like this whole like being from the hood, and you got to be real and this and the third, like what is a filter? Take me as this is me, blah blah. But it's like, no, there's just like some shit you don't need to say out loud.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you any more real because you didn't say something or you held off on saying something. It means you have fucking manners. You know what I mean? And you like, I find it interesting with how toxic men like jump on this whole, now I think that it's interesting when we were talking about how your sexuality is now being questioned because you associate yourself with someone who is gay. And I'm like, why did their minds automatically go to that instead of like,
because probably they're gay.
because they
I'm sorry, but I'm a firm believer. If a man really has a problem with a gay man being in the room, it's because you have some down low secrets that you need to get out.
Yeah, I
because
mean,
a comfortable man will be comfortable in any situation with anybody.
that's a fact. Cause I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess from other people's perspective, they know a lot of like down low men. So then they're just like, oh, so if he's hanging around these guys, maybe he's gay too. Like, nah, bro. I mean, all you really gotta.
What was your first encounter when you were like, what are you even saying right now? If you can remember.
I mean, I probably in like college, I guess, maybe, because I was just like, say if I would just like hit up a dude just cause like, yo, you trying to go get some food, you trying to eat, trying to hang out, da da da, we hanging out, and then say like, oh, I'm involved with a female, and the gay man and the female are friends, and the female will be like, yo, this person thought you was kind of gay, right? I'm just like, why?
Be like, yeah, join the team.
Like, yeah, I'm just like, why? It's like, oh, because you're always hitting them up, da 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 da. I'm like, I hit him up because he's a cool person. We're friends. I don't have any sexual attraction.
I didn't even think about it.
That goes back
I
to
didn't
the
even think
bone
about it
that I
coming
threw
from the
into.
female side. That's crazy.
Honestly, majority of the time it has come from a female's
I've
side.
heard females
like,
say a lot of
yeah,
things that are
I'm
like,
just like,
I thought he was gay because he painted his nails clear, and I'm like, is he not putting his finger? They're clean. Like, what are we?
yeah, like I said, like,
do you want dirty nails? Because
Mama's pH balance.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so I've had a lot of those experiences, and it's always funny to me. And before I was like confident in who I am, it had me question. I'm just like, so if they're thinking that, am I? And then I'm just like, no, I'm not. You feel me? I'm just like,
But that right there, like, I just want to pause on that because that is something that, because you are comfortable in your sexuality, that you can admit, and you just said it out loud.
Yeah.
A lot of men don't even want to admit that because their boys were capping on them, that they may have had like a lack of judgment and say like, ooh, is there something to this? And unfortunately, I felt privy to that as well. Like, for so long, I was asked if like, are you gay? Are you gay? Then when my sister came out, everybody was like, damn, sis, we thought it was gonna be you. I was like, that's crazy. Like, why?
That's crazy.
Why would you think that? Because I am more in tune with my masculine side than my feminine side. Now, towards the end of my 20s, I've gotten more into my feminine side and like playing around with like different fashion pieces and things like that, and like trying to find my look. But in college, it caused me to not to have to, I didn't have to, but because I wasn't so confident in myself as a person, not just my sexuality, myself as a person, also me being such a late bloomer, like I didn't start drinking till I got to college. I didn't start anything really, like even like having sexual encounters until I was like 22. Like I it was super delayed for me. I was delayed. In terms of like society standards.
I was about to
most
say,
people
in terms of the hood, yeah, from where we come from, you starting at 12.
According to the hood,
she was a senior. That all started at 16.
yeah, right. I was a senior citizen according to the hood. So with that, it caused me to have an insecurity of like, oh, well, are guys even gonna like me? Do guys even like me? And I do get more attention from women. So maybe there's something. I remember sitting in that and being like, damn, I mean, they saying this so many times. Like, is it possible?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Negatron.
no.
Right. You feel me? I just see a female pass by. I'm just like,
I think
You know what I mean? I got my
That's
first
it
taste
right
of
there.
Amiens, and I was like, I like to be. This is nice.
and people be like, oh, but you haven't tried it. Bro, I don't care to.
I don't need to.
I don't care to, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is not food. Like, you feel me? Like,
I mean, if we keep it in a buck, I dabbled, and that's how I knew, like, this is terrible. This sucks.
like me personally, I do not care
couldn't,
to
like, I
dabble.
couldn't get turned. This is probably the most. This is the realest I've ever been on this fucking podcast.
I was about to
We was
say.
like, wait, Nina, you airing this out now? Yeah, we go.
I'm like stressed.
Yes, I did. I did have an experience, and I was just like, no, like and now I can compare it. The way I react, like my body and what, like my mind, everything reacted to being with a man versus to like dabbling in females or whatever. I was just kind of like, ooh, I like this here. I like this. I like this one. Yeah. That never should have happened. And I think this is definitely a conversation we can have for another episode. But like society making you question your sexuality because of the standards that they're putting upon you. And like, I never should have had that experience. I never should have been made to feel that way. Enough so that did happen. For me to be able to then say, no, I'm good. No, because we need to accept the fact that there are people that walk around and they know for a fact it's not, oh, but you haven't tried it. Fuck you. Go find somebody who has. Like, don't try to convince me.
It's just like telling
so
a gay man,
disrespectful.
like a Golden Star gay. It's like telling them, like, oh, how do you know that, you don't like females? You just know you don't like females. Like,
yeah.
And I think the people,
like women don't, you look at a female, they don't turn you on.
I think
like,
the people that use that term are like, just
toxic and manipulative.
I think
you
that.
sure?
Well, what kind of question is? Well, have you? That's like always how you should turn it around. Like, well, have you tried it? And it's like if it's coming from someone in the community, like shame on you, because that, like, you can't always use that, right? You can't always turn to that. You can flip the question. Well, have you? How do you know you don't like girls? You've never. I just know. Oh, so you just know. But no one else knows, right? Like the straight can't just know.
Right, they can't just know.
And it's like I've had these conversations like with my gay friends, and I'm like, I'm like, maybe he's just straight, and they're like, girl, no, and I'm like, also my thing is like I've never put this on record. I never want to put that much attention on anyone else besides me. So for me to do all that work just to figure out if you're gay, like, you need a therapist. Like, that's insane. Yeah, that's pretty insane.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But to bring it back to Chef, it's refreshing to hear a man be like, absolutely, nah, this it made me question my sexuality. Even if it was for like a second, but like some men will live their whole lives and never admit that because it's like, oh, I don't view you less of a man because you admitted that. Like, I think that there is strength in your vulnerability, and the more
vulnerability.
Look at that word of the week. There is strength within that because, and that just goes to show you that on Sofrito Speaks is a safe space. Thank you. Shameless plug. You want to be here, but it just goes to show like, like the work that you've done within yourself and like how you can hone in on and express that. Growing up, you were in tune with your feminine side, but you learned how to be also be in tune with your masculine side, and you have a very beautiful blend of the two, which is how you are able to connect with people from all walks of life. So I think that's just a testament to who you are as a person, which I think is dope.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. That was really nicely put. It felt good coming out.
The one thing I do want to mention, though, is it's like, at least with my group of friends, they're very accepting. I think the only thing that is just like a little, I wouldn't say off-putting, but it's just like if there's a guy in the group and they might be down low and the guys don't know, and then we happen to find out, then it's just kind of like, damn, bro, why didn't you tell us? You thought, we were just gonna like shun you or whatever. Like, nah, bro, like we're all very accepting. That is one thing about my group of friends that I do appreciate, is that they are very accepting as long as like you're truthful. You don't feel the need to hide yourselves, because I understand the need, because especially in this society, but if you like really sit down and have a conversation with us, you'll realize like, yeah, you're a cool dude. Like, even if we was hanging out and we didn't know you were gay, and then all of a sudden we found out you were gay, what does that mean? What does that change?
Right.
Nothing. You're still a cool dude. We still had great moments. We still have great memories. So that
Yeah.
really changes nothing.
Which is dope for your experience. I think that in other friend groups and or like just in general, like for some friend groups, when someone does come out, then you start to go back and think like, yeah, nah, he was staying a little too close to me in the elevator that one time.
Dude was a little
That
sus
makes sense.
sometimes. Like,
Nah, when he brushed my eyelash off my face, like that, thought that was a little weird. That makes sense. Like
He
then
did
people
come in
start
trying to pat balls.
nigga said slap ass.
You know what I mean? Like he did, he slapped my ass a little too hard in the locker room after a game. Like it makes sense. But that's the part that sucks. It's like when if someone does come out and or does want to share with a group of men that they thought they were safe with, that is the reaction. Like, start to psychoanalyze it a little bit. I mean, I wish it didn't happen, but unfortunately, that's just how the mind works. Because it's like now it becomes they just came out. If I'm seen with them, are people gonna assume that because we've been friends for so long
what it is.
that I'm like it's a lot.
Right.
Listen, best thing you could do for yourselves is work on yourselves, get comfortable with who you are as a person, love yourself as a person. That way, any the naysayers cannot dictate how you feel about you, because it is called self-esteem.
You feel me?
Esteem of your motherfucking self.
Okay.
Sir Cat Williams.
Well, I think we pretty much got everything we needed to get off of our chest.
I like that.
No pun intended. Let's head over to our next section, which is